Пане Генеральний секретарю, високоповажні пані та панове, сьогодні я звертаюся до вас як ромська жінка, життя якої сформували війна, вимушене переміщення і витривалість. Мене звати Галина Томенко. Я народилася в 1945 році, наприкінці Другої світової війни. Проте війна увійшла в моє життя ще до мого народження. Моя родина жила в селі Царичанка, працювала землеробами, мала коней та дбала одне про одного. Коли нацистські переслідування посилилися, ромські родини стали мішенню через свою ідентичність. У 1940 році мої батьки та троє братів і сестра були змушені залишити свій дім і переїхати до Дніпра, аби вижити. Під час нацистської окупації
During the Nazi occupation, Roma were hunted, deported, and murdered without records or recognition. Survival depended on constant movement, silence, and fear. My family endured hunger, genocide, uncertainty, and loss. Many Roma families were erased entirely. Later, I married a man whose family also survived Nazi persecution in Kremenchuk City, Poltava region. In our home, memories of the war were never written down. They lived in our bodies, in illness and in silence. The older generation carried this burden so that the younger generation could live. Unfortunately, today, war has returned to Ukraine. Once again, families flee. Once again, fear enters our homes. For Roma survivors, the present echoes the past. Trauma does not disappear with time. It is carried forward, but so is strength. I speak today not only to remember, but to pass responsibility onward. My generation has carried memory through survival. Now we entrust this memory to our children and grandchildren, not as fear, but as knowledge, dignity, and protection. May they carry it further than we could and create a better world for next generations.
Дякую, панове.
Thank you.
Dear Mr. Secretary General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I stand in front of you today as a granddaughter, as a representative of the third generation after the Roma and Sinti genocide, as someone who accepts responsibility entrusted to me. From survivors like my grandmother, we inherit not only memory, but wisdom. They teach us that survival is not only about endurance, it's about care, responsibility, and action. The genocide of Roma and Sinti during the Second World War remains one of the worst least recognized crimes of Nazi regime in the world history. Tens and thousands of Roma and Sinti were murdered on the territory of today's Ukraine, often by mass shootings, without documentation, graves, or names. On the territory of Ukraine, the genocide was by bullets, meaning Roma were eliminated in the places of mass gatherings, as Babin Yar in Kiev and in many other places. For decades, this history remained outside official Holocaust remembrance. My generation works to change this. We remember those who passed away during collective commemorative ceremonies, collect testimonies of still alive Roma survivors in Ukraine. We build open archives, create permanent exhibitions for the state institutions, and educational tools for school curriculums to ensure that their voices become part of national and global memory. This work is not symbolical, it is protective. Today's war in Ukraine and our generation's survival shows us that trauma is never only historical. It is international, intergenerational, and deeply human. Survivors teach us how to endure uncertainty, how to remain human in unhuman conditions, how to protect life, even when the future is unclear. I accept the responsibility passed to my grandmother's generation, but memory alone is not enough. It must be transformed into protection, education, and solidarity. Our goal is not only to remember the past, but to care a future and create a future in which no child grows up fearing persecution because of who they are. Genocide remembrance is a commitment for future generations. What we do today will determine whether memory remains alive and whether dignity and human rights are truly protected tomorrow. Thank you.